Hello everybody and welcome to another RCT2 review. We are continuing our reviews of H2H9 from round 1. This is match 2 featuring the serial killers and the manual laborers. First one addition to the review last match. I never did mention the builders of Drowned. I did mention Robbie 92, but Alex led the effort there with 40% of the build score. Coaster Creator 9 and Robbie 92 were the three builders on that one. So definitely want to give them credit where credit is due. So our two parks today are very different vibes from each other. This is the first one, La Tomatina by the Serial Killers. This one was built by Liam and RWE. Clever theme. It's set in Spain, where the Tomato Festival is. I know that's a famous festival over there, and there's just a lot of really clever, interesting stuff in here. So first of all, the palette, very red, lots of different shades of red, but you get this whole kind of fun sense of this whole tomato throwing, I guess, festival in the middle of the square here. As I tend to like to do, we will start with the coaster, just because I think that's always fun. There's a coaster in here, not quite sure why with the festival, but certainly rolls through the middle of this. So this is El Tomato or El Tomate Grande, and it's definitely a bold choice with the red. I know there were certainly split opinions judging from the topic. In my opinion, I quite liked it. I thought it looked very nice. Some folks thought it might have been a little bit garish, but I can respect that. I kind of liked it. What you will see here while we're waiting for the coaster to dispatch is these half diagonal pieces. If it looks a little weird, that's because it's relatively new to the game. With kind of within the last year or two, I think Tulsamere was the first one to really kind of put these forward. Tends to be that you either love it or hate it. I'm not totally sold on it yet. It looks always a little bit forced, maybe. I think this aqueduct here just wasn't doing it for me, but when they're used well in different buildings, I think they can be done, or can look very nice. So I think we'll see some more of that later. Great archway here across that aqueduct, though. Here we have this great double down, up and into another little drop, and swing around here. Sort of GCI-esque. I think that's what it's meant to be, just based on the overall design, but certainly could be just of its own thing. Love the little sign here. Here we go as it wraps around the village and sort of cuts on through. I do like the support work right there. Wrapping around on the diagonal here to the diagonal breaks, and then back into the station. So as you kind of come into the village, first thing you notice is just all the tomato fields all the way around, which is very cool. So some of them are still growing here, like the jumping fountains that you've got. Other ones have the tomatoes on them. Here's one of our first custom rides of the contest here with the tomato trucks coming through. So we have the empty ones and the ones that are full of tomatoes. Also the greenhouses kind of throughout this whole space. I think those are pretty cool. Architecture-wise, I think it's really nice design in general. I mean, Liam, I feel like, is always very good at his architecture and placemaking. Certainly doing a lot of that. I think RWE can certainly hold his own also, so very well put together. Loving this bridge over on this side with the kind of stair steps up, but still getting that nice archway throughout the whole thing. Again, I already commented on the half diagonal, a little bit odd, a little bit strange there, but not terrible. I think more so it looks better when you're doing something like this, where it's in the architecture itself. I do like these subtle elevation changes. I mean, this is a pretty big height difference between up here and down here. So I think it's worth just looking at how those sorts of things are put in here. So the map is, relatively flat without being totally flat. Here we have this pretty fun splash battle ride through the middle of this. Love all the tomato that you see in the water here. Just lots of little clever things. Here we have the first aid tent and the ambulance. folks are having a bad day with all the tomatoes. I love our little Porta John stalls here that are brought in. Uh, it's a very different vibe on this side with the maze over here. The Villa Gazpacho, which is clever. Tomato fountain in the middle. At least you hope that's tomato. Otherwise, kind of concerning. Um, and you have the little tower here, and then just the overall tomato fight here in the middle, which I think is really well put together. A couple of frozen peeps throughout, and everything. Really nice center square buildings here. Interesting way to take on the arch. I think there's a couple of different ways to do it, but certainly a little more blockier texture than other ones. But I do like the subtlety of some of these little color changed roof tiles. It can get a little much, when you zoom out and then they're all this same terracotta color. But that's how it is in Europe and in a lot of cities like that. But this breaks it up and adds a little bit of dimension and just interesting differences in the middle of it. I love these walls here that have the different textural elements, so you can kind of cover it in tomato on the side. But a fun theme, a kind of a clever idea, just a lot of kind of neat stuff to look at and view, which I always appreciate in Liam conceptual parks. Is there's just a lot of little tiny details to look at, kind of increase your view time, just increase the amount of spend that you have going through the space. Just lots and lots of cool things to go see. But without further ado, let's continue on to the next park here. So next up is the manual labor. So this is Gauntelgrim. So this is in the manual, Otter Salad, Shen Kitchen, and Coupon. So each park, for those of you who are unfamiliar, can have up to 3 builders plus a floater, and the floater can build on every single park without restriction. There are other restrictions for how many parks each other individual team member can build. 3 is the limit, and there's other various restrictions in there as well. So anyway, Gauntelgrim's got a very different vibe from what we were just looking at with our tomato theme in Europe. Here we have this very cool, kind of fantastical, rockwork heavy like fantasy realm with a water park in the middle of it. So coming up to the beginning section here, this may be my favorite area in the park, to be honest. It's got this just really fabulous entrance. Great big staircases up with the waterfalls coming throughout. Love this giant waterfall coming over top of the man-made structures here. Cool archway. And then I love this colonnade over here with the little shops and stalls and things in here. So all the different frozen staff members and other things like that as you walk into the park. So we've got this cool big rock archway as you come in, and then you have this great kind of view across to the rest of the space. These kind of interesting flashing pathway things. A little bit in your face, perhaps, but not too bad. Kind of continuing that motif throughout this space. Heavy on the rock work, and I think that was sort of the big kind of contentious point, I suppose, as far as either you liked it or you didn't. A lot of different colors and a lot of different styles. For me, it was maybe a little bit heavy, but I kind of respect the kind of going all in on some of this. So it definitely is heavy, but it's pretty cool and pretty well put together. It just gets to be a lot after a little while. But let's take a look at kind of some of this stuff. So we've got a couple of water slides here throughout. Water parks are one of those things that usually we see maybe one a head-to-head or in a contest. So always kind of nice to see these attempted. Nice the way that this wraps around some of the columns and through the arch walls and everything else. A little bit almost feeling unfinished. I don't know if it is or not, but I think it looks good. I would suggest adding some brakes here to kind of slow the landing into the pool rather than a hard stop as it does. But subtle things like that I think can certainly help. I do love these little bits of cutaway almost here, where you've got this the space inside. that you can't really see from this side, but you can spin around and see it a little better. So over here is the smelting, and the area here breaks up a little bit of the grays that we've been seeing, replacing them with browns. We have the sort of molten metal here coming along, which seems like maybe not the best thing for a water park. Don't want to slide in that, but fair enough. I really like this overall design. This chain over the Ferris wheel, super clever. That may be my favorite detail in the park, after the entrance being my kind of favorite area. Love that. Love the big pot here. And then just this waterfall coming down, really kind of nice looking falls throughout the whole space. But really clever stuff. We're going to take a spin here on the top spin here in just a second. This is Forge's Fury, whenever that one takes off. But in the meantime, you can look here at the center island. We have a couple more slides coming across. Yeah, Swirly Spring, Hot Spring Helix, and Sulfur Slicks. And coming down and around, spills into the wave pool down, or the not the wave pool, the lazy river that wraps around the whole space. I do love the springs here, or this sort of like hot tub area. A couple of different spots here using the Rapids piece. Sort of an old trick from No Custom Scenery for those rapid spaces, and actually I think they work really well. So good use for those hot springs throughout. Let's see what our dispatch time is actually. We are Forge's Fury hidden. So we do have queuing folks here. The ride itself is not running, which is a little bit of a shame because it would be cool to see that one go, but totally understand. Couple more rides here. Let's take a look at this one. We got the half pipe that is set into the rock work here. Really well done. One's a pretty nice, interesting, detailed one. And then our racing slides here, where we have the body slides going down. I think X7 built a number of these custom rides, so certainly thank him for all of those different pieces. Lovely bowl slide here with the bowl sort of dropped in the middle, but you have your walkway up here so you can kind of look down into it as you go in. And I do like the patterns underneath the water. I think that's a nice little touch throughout. A couple more slides on this side. Little change in the color of the crystals. So you're seeing blue earlier. There's some green ones over here, some white ones. Let's go ahead and pick up the mine train here while it's on the lift hill. This is Crystallis. Got this great drop here underneath. Crossing over. Big subterranean dive here coming across. Really like the use of this shared bridge. And then it's going to circle back underneath the base here. Back around, a couple cool interaction points there. Final drop here into this diagonal brake run. Really nice queue. I love how it sort of works its way up the side here. And then just the layering is very nice. So queue line with the ride here, kind of working its way up to this slide tube that's sort of hung out over top of the edge. Very nicely done. This cutaway is great with all the crystals down below. So certainly to the theme of the coaster, this is where you get your kind of payoff at the end. I love everything kind of buried down in the middle, different brightly colored water in here. Very nice use of that cutaway feature. And then throughout, just seeing some of the queue line and some of the other things that you can kind of see peeking in from the side. But on the whole, I think this was done very well. I think there's a lot of cool stuff to look at in here. Definitely a lot of time, I'm sure. I don't know how well the new scenery copier tool can be used for this rock work, but if not, that's a lot of work. A lot of different objects, and definitely very heavy time consuming for the whole thing, but really well done, I thought. So another two strong contenders for this one. I did vote for Tomatina. The vibe definitely had a little more my speed as far as just theming and atmosphere and everything else goes. I think this is a bold choice and certainly picked up a number of votes for that very reason. Um, I loved it. I thought it was great. Just I thought Tomatina edged it a little bit, but all sorts of just clever stuff like this, and just really nice architecture here. Love sort of the greenery coming into the mines. But it's just a neat idea. I mean, it's a water park in some mines, some crystal mines. Um, that's a interesting mashup of stuff and executed pretty well. I think it is definitely a lot to be proud of here and a lot to take away from it. So anyway, two really good parks. Tomatina did come out to be the victor in this one, so that was the first win of the tournament for Serial Killers for Liam's team. But Manual Laborers will certainly come back with some other strong parks here for future rounds coming up. But that is all for today's stream. So this is, or today's video. I will post a link to both of these parks in the description below. So definitely download those, check them out. Let me know what you think. Let me know which one your favorite park was. And certainly, like I said before, I'm not going into super detail on this, so they're keeping them pretty short videos. Definitely download the park for yourself. Check it out. You need open RCT2 to view these parks. You can download that. I'll put a link in the description for that also. But check them out and enjoy. I'll be back for one more round one matchup, match 3 here for the 2 remaining teams. And then we will move along to match number 2. So until next time, thank you guys very much for watching and have a great day. Bye now.